I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the upper Hawksbill parking lot. Fairly good size. This is mile marker 46. Yep, there it is, my little red car. And just between these two cars, over there is the Trailhead going up to Hawksbill. That's the highest summit in the park. It's a little over 4,000 feet. And I've got plenty of those hikes on my channel. I'm going over here to this, across the street here. This is called Spitler Hill. I'll point it out when I do the map talk. Down here on the other side of the street is a trailhead. I am going to, part of the Skyland Big Meadows Horse Trail. I'm going to hike on that a little ways, and then I'm going to jump off and look for some old abandoned roads and homesteads down this way. The elevation here is 3625. So right up there around the corner is the parking lot. You come down here, and here's the trailhead. And this is the Skyland Big Meadows Horse Trail. Like I said in my intro, we're going to hike down the side of the mountain on this a ways until I find my jumping off waypoint, and then I'm going to start looking for an old abandoned road to some homesteads down here. Heading down the side of the mountain on this is the Skyland Big Meadows Horse Trail. It's an old road. This road shows up on the 1929 map. Oh, whoops, I'll show you when I do my map talk. So I'm going to follow this down to my waypoint number 4. I'll do a little video when I get down there in that vicinity. And then starting at waypoint 4, the new route is different from the old route. So that's where I'm going to turn and head towards the east and look for some old homesteads when we get down here. Nine-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 3420 elevation, and I'm at a waypoint, my waypoint number 4. I'll point it out on the map. And this is the point where the current day trail continues off this way, and according to the 1929 map, the old road and a homestead were over in this direction, more to the east. So I've got a waypoint. It's telling me, standing here, it's telling me it's about 500 feet away on a bearing of 161 magnetic. So this is where this is when the compass comes out, and we'll do some bushwhacking, see if we can see a road or any remains. And then if I do find them, then I'll continue on to the next homestead down that way. If I don't find the first one, I may not do the second one. I don't know, we'll see. It depends on how hard or easy it is to push through all this. Well, I've been wandering around in the vicinity. This right here is a depression which looks a lot like an old road. The thing that caught my attention was that tree right there, which appears to be at the edge of the road. And then right here you can see rocks look like they're piled up, and it's sort of dished out down here. And this is fairly close to where the first of the two homesteads is supposed to be. So I'm going to follow this down, see if I run into anything down here. One mile into my hike, I'm down to 3,370 feet. Down that way, I'm within 90 feet of my 1929 homestead point. And all of a sudden, here's what the underbrush looks like up this way, pretty consistently. See that? Hardly any. And you go down another 100 feet and look. All sorts of nasty undergrowth down there. So that is usually what you find when you run across an old homestead. That was my GPS beeping, telling me I'm getting close. So that's pretty common up here in these mountains. Is you know, wherever there was a homestead, it would have been cleared out for grazing and stuff, and then when they abandon it, all the weeds come up and thorny vines and everything, and it takes hundreds of years for them to finally go away. The other interesting thing is right over here, and I'll mark this on my map. That looks an awful lot like a grave marker. Now I looked on it and I don't see, there are some initials and dates scratched in it, like dating like 1994 and stuff, but those are just where people scratched their names on or initials onto it. I don't see where it has the name of the person that was laid to rest there. That looks an awful lot like a grave marker to me. Well, I think I found the old homestead. Here's a rock wall, a retaining wall, and right there is this big cleared out area. Looks like lots of rocks and stuff piled up, and some sort of a spring coming out of the mountain right here. So down there looks like a flat terraced off area. I'm gonna at least go down there and check that out. But the rest of this is like extreme nasty, thorny bushes and all that. There's the rock wall. I came from up there. I'll show you on the map down that way. If you go down that way far enough, you'll end up down at the Rose River. And my GPS is telling me I'm 68 feet from the 1929 point. So this has got to be it right here, especially with a rock retaining wall right there. Okay, a little ways below where the homestead was, here's a springbox. See how those rocks are stacked up right there? and there's the head wall of it right there. And then it drains down this way. There's a metal barrel, could have been a burn barrel, and then on down towards the Rose River. And up there is the where the homestead was. Yeah, okay, so there's the burn barrel and the spring box. Up there's the homestead site. And then this isn't the way I'm planning to go, but this looks like there was a piece of a road that just continued straight on down the side of the mountain down towards the Rose River. See how cleared out that is down there? And this looks a little bit dished out like it was part of a road. So I don't know, that's another thing that could be explored. But I'm going to head towards the west over in this direction and look for my next waypoint, which is waypoint number 6. So I found that laying on the ground. That's a piece of a fairly heavy-duty chain, looks like, that was used to drive a piece of machinery. It's totally rusted into that position. So there it is laying on the ground. Now, hold on, let me just, what's this? Okay, there's a metal pipe coming up out of the ground. Interesting. So there's the chain. I picked it up off the ground and set it up on that rock. And then there's a pipe coming up out of the ground. So who knows, maybe that chain was driving a pump or something. Well, look at this. This is part of an old structure right here. Stacked, dry stacked stone. That looks like the corner right there. I'll get some stills. And this is over on the west side of this homestead area. That big rock there, that thing sticking up on top of the rock is that drive chain. And just a little bit south of that is that pipe sticking up out of the ground. And then over here to the west is this. So maybe this was the house and that other thing up there was a spring house. Actually, that would make more sense since there was water over there. That could have been the spring house there. And then this could have been, because this is in a little drier area over here. That rock sitting on top has a name carved in it, but I can't make out what it is. Okay, well I went up there and walked around on that pile a little bit. Now I'm realizing that entire mound, not just the corner where you can see the rocks, but this part here where you can walk, that whole thing's one big pile of rocks. And leaves have covered up most of it. Well, here's some rusted out car parts. Looks like to me, that looks like a fender. Piece of it here. More of it over there. Now that tank though, that tank looks pretty big, so maybe it was a piece of machinery. Maybe it was a piece of machinery with wheels on it. Because see, that's a pretty big tank. Okay, I'm heading west away from that first homestead. Here's a big pile of rocks here. Another pile of rocks up there. And if it's fairly clear, I'm going to head up this way towards my waypoint 6 and see. I can't see the road anymore. So I'm going to bushwhack more or less on a compass bearing and see what I can find. I might head down this way just a little bit first. 1.3 miles into my hike, I'm down to 33:20. I'm a little bit west of the first homestead, which was over there, and then the map showed a road coming over here from that direction, and then it turned left and it headed down the side of the mountain this way towards the Rose River. I don't really see a road. There are a lot of blown down trees here though. That's kind of curious. And right up there, I know the road can't be up there because it's super steep up there. So the 1929 point is actually up that way, about 150 feet, but that would put you way up there in those rocks, so that's not the road. Incidentally, right there looks like a hornet's nest. I took a zoomed in picture of it. I'm going to wander around just a little bit, but I don't really see a road anymore. If I can't find it, I may just turn around and go back the way I came. I mean, that's pretty cleared out right there coming over from that first home site. So it could have been like right in through there, but then I don't see where it heads down towards the Rose River. So look around a little more, and then I'm going to either, if I can't find that, I'll probably just turn around and head back the way I came. That's looking back towards the first homestead. I'm just slightly lower on the mountain. This looks like it could have been part of an old road right here. See those rocks left and right? And a tree blown over and it's depressed. If this thing goes over there and turns, that's looking west. If it goes over there and turns to the south, then that's the road. I'm going to reposition my point 6 to here. 1.6 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3360, and over that way is where I was looking for an old abandoned road heading south down towards the Rose River, which I really never did find it. So I abandoned that idea and looked for the quickest way to get back over here. And I got back on. This is the, I think, the Skyland Big Meadows horse trail. Haven't seen any blazing yet, but that's where I came from, just a few hundred feet down there. And I'm just going to start climbing the mountain back up this way, back up to my car. Okay, well now I know I'm on the Skyland Big Meadows horse trail, because horse trails are blazed yellow. See that? Here's a shot from Spitler Knoll Overlook. It's a little bit foggy today. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Big Meadows, 1994, and the purpose of the hike was to look for some old homesteads. The one that I located is on Tract 137, was owned by Jacob Spitler. This is the upper Hawksbill parking area and the trailhead for Hawksbill Summit. This is mile marker 46. It's a fairly large lot. Park here. Walk down the hill just a little bit and look to the left and you'll see the trailhead right here. Got on this trail, and this section here is actually part of what is now called the Skyland to Big Meadows Horse Trail. It wasn't marked on this map from 1994, so I just sort of penciled it in. Followed this on down to my waypoint number 4, which is right here. And then what I noticed, comparing this map to an older map that I'll show you here in a minute, the old trail came down like this and around, and the new trail, they cut that section off, and the new trail just goes like this in the yellow, and then like this. So when you get down to here, I started looking towards the east, and I did locate some sections of the old road. Come on down to here. Just the pink spot right here is where the homestead location was shown on the old map. Just above that, right about here, I found a single grave with a headstone. There's no name on it though. Then came down here and found a bunch of different things here at this homestead location that I show in the video. Then after that, I started heading to the west over here to this waypoint number 6. Now when I got over here, I was looking for this trail heading south down the side of the mountain, but I never did find it. So I abandoned the idea of looking for this homestead down here. Instead, I turned around and hiked over like this until I got onto the modern day trail, and then basically looped back to my car like that. Now let me show you the old map. This is Stony Man 1929. Okay, and here's the same area, Spitler Hill. This is where I parked, and here's the old trail like this, coming down and looping around like that. And there's the homestead that I did find. Here's the trail that I couldn't locate, and here's the other homestead that's supposed to be down here. Now let me go back to the other map. So originally I had planned this was going to be more like 3 or 4 miles. It ended up being, because I cut it short, ended up being 2.7 miles and total ascent of 480 feet. And that was the hike for today.